No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to smack it raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of those. Listener discretion is advised. Hand jobbers and hand jobbies, welcome to the Smackin Raw podcast, episode 132, and it is Valentine's Day. And the Smackin Raw podcast has all your needs. You've got your host, the Warden Matt Ritter, a.k.a. White Chocolate, and I brought with me my co-host, as always, Sir Cuss-a-Lot Travis Pointer, a.k.a. the Dragon King, a.k.a. Sweet Tea, a.k.a. Big T, a.k.a. T Money, a.k.a. Black Merlin, a.k.a. the HNIC, and for today's purposes, a.k.a. Dark Chocolate. Travis, how you doing tonight?
I'm feeling the love tonight, man.
Yeah, I heard you got fucked tonight.
Not in a good way.
Oh, you didn't get fucked in the good way on Valentine's Day?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, well, if it makes you feel any better, I have a very attractive wife in the other room in bed, and I've got to sit here for an hour and talk to you, hour and a half, and I don't get to go enjoy that either. So
that sounds like excellent foreplay to me.
Mm-hmm.
Get that engine revved up for you. You know, you're welcome. Tell her I said you're welcome. After we're done.
Yeah. Speaking of the excellent foreplay and revving of the engines, let us continue to slowly rev the engines of Sasha's DMs as you send her.
Oh, we're not revving
romantic,
it yet. We still priming it. You know, still priming it up. You know,
as you send her romantic panda gifts, and I play sensual R&B.
Soon as we get started making love, going hard on hero.
Oh, oops, that's not Sasha. That would have been weird.
As soon as I go getting it, then again, there's a knock knocking on the wall. Your leg keeps shaking. We breaking our new headboard.
All right.
And the love we so good.
That looks like it is a spinning kung fu panda.
Yep.
And what is in his crotch?
Don't worry about what's in his crotch. All right, you can find that out when she gets down in there.
I won't ask questions, Travis. Do you want to start off with the big news, the big exciting news, the news I'm sure you're most excited about that we got this week?
What big exciting news are you talking about, man?
I can tell by the look on your face you know exactly what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen,
what do you mean?
It is official. Simone Johnson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's daughter, has signed a contract with the WWE and is headed to the WWE Performance Center to start her wrestling career. Travis is hoping this is going to be the second coming of not only him, but his favorite wrestler of all time.
And honestly, I saw that picture. I'm like, oh my God, you look like your dad.
Yeah.
Like it's creepy because she's attractive and at the same time looks like The Rock too. So just like, am I attracted to The Rock?
You are 100%.
I'm okay.
I had
with
asked myself.
I'm
here's
okay
the thing.
with
I
that.
asked myself the same
question
question because Charlotte looks like a tall Ric Flair with fake boobs, and on occasion I find myself looking at Charlotte like, and I'm like, wait, does that mean I want to fuck Ric Flair? That might mean I want to fuck Ric Flair.
Maybe, yeah. It's one of those you just gotta like. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, The Rock is a beautiful man, so I understand, but it's just
Ric Flair, less of a beautiful man, but still, he's got that appeal.
But he styles and profiles. He's he just got a presence about him. So at the same time, I still get it.
I guess you could say that Charlotte Flair is stunting like her daddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We also found out WrestleMania 37 is going Hollywood, and it is my personal opinion that if they do not give us the WrestleMania Go Hollywood trailers, the movie trailers, like we got for WrestleMania 21,
Oh, yeah.
I automatically consider WrestleMania 37 a fucking failure.
Yeah. Yeah. Automatically trash.
Automatically. Last week we talked about WWE possibly taking the major pay-per-views off of the network, and Travis said there's no way. Well, the new report is that they are shopping them around to Amazon Prime and Hulu. So your Royal Rumbles, your WrestleManias, SummerSlams, and Survivor Series would be sold to other streaming platforms where you would probably have to purchase them or at least subscribe to them there to watch them. But there are other streaming platforms Vince is looking to sell the big four to.
No, not happening.
You watch AEW this week, right?
I did.
So you know that interviewer in like the tiny little dress and the blonde ponytail and that they have backstage? Did you notice her?
I'm aware that she exists, but I don't know anything about her.
Well, you're about to. She's she's one of the Diamond Daughters. She's one of DDP's daughters.
Oh.
I don't know if it's Kimberly's daughter, because I get the feeling after his Hall of Fame induction that Diamond Dallas Page has a lot of daughters, and I don't think all of them are with Kimberly, but all of them are somehow attractive, and he is not, and none of them look like Diamond Dallas Page.
Can we really be sure they're all his then?
I mean,
is he still with Kimberly?
No, he has not been with Kimberly
for a
long time. Yeah. Last but not least, the news and rumors, ladies and gentlemen. It saddens me to talk about this. I found this out, I think, today, but Kathy Kelly is leaving NXT and the WWE. After NXT TakeOver Portland this Sunday, it will be her last show, and she will be exploring, as per her own choice, I believe, other opportunities elsewhere. Yes.
Who the fuck is Kathy Kelly?
God damn it, Travis. You know who Kathy Kelly is.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. She's one of the WWE backstage interviewers. She's kind of like Renee, the secondary Renee Young.
I'd have to see her.
She also dated Finn Balor for a while, and she was, and I don't know if I think they broke up, but she was also hooking up with the Dream.
Dream.
Yeah. You think he sings songs from Dream when he's,
like from the Dream?
Yeah, like from the Dream. Think he serenades women with the Dream?
I would.
Because he's the Dream?
Mm-hmm. I would.
Because I could also see him just like basically completely ripping off Prince and doing the whole Prince thing.
That too. But somehow working in the word Velveteen every now and then.
Mm-hmm. Where do you want to start, Travis? AEW, SmackDown, Raw, or NXT? And I can tell you that if we start with SmackDown, it's going to start hot and heavy because I am pissed.
I mean, I'm kind of eager to find out what happened on SmackDown because I missed it all. So, yeah, let's start there.
Oh, yeah, because we talked about how you got fucked tonight, but we didn't talk about who fucked you. And it was your job that fucked you, keeping you from being able to watch SmackDown tonight.
Yeah. I made some adjustments for them, and they assured me that I would still be able to leave by around 6 or 7 o'clock. Yeah, that didn't work out.
So we're going to get right into it. The one thing everyone was waiting for, the one thing we were all fucking excited about was this Valentine's Day date with Mandy and Otis. And they played it out till almost the end of the show. And Travis, as every segment went on, I got more and more nervous about how this was going to go. We show Otis backstage. Tucker's helping him get ready. He says he's nervous. He gets a call from Mandy saying Mandy's running a little late. So he's like, I got a little more time to get ready, but now I got more time to be nervous. And then in the next clip, we see Mandy sitting down at the restaurant, but for some reason, Otis isn't at the restaurant yet. He's still at the arena in the locker room with Tucker. Then we see Mandy waiting some more as Otis is entering the restaurant with his flowers, and he's ready to go, and he's talking to the maitre d'. And then a hand rests on Mandy's shoulder, and she's like, Otis, I was getting worried. And she turns around, and it's not fucking Otis.
Okay.
It's Dolph Ziggler. And Dolph sits down.
Wait, are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you, Travis. And Dolph sits down at the table, the Valentine's Day date table with Mandy, and Otis walks in and sees the two of them sitting at the table that he's supposed to be at, and we watch his little fucking stakes and weights heart break and shatter, and the fucking flowers droop, and he leaves.
Motherfucker.
So here's the thing, Travis. Two
Motherfucker
things.
Dolph Ziggler.
No, two things.
Hold on. Bear. Come here. Because I don't know. Bear, did you hear that? I know you didn't because I got headphones on, but sometimes you hear me anyway. Just know, we hate motherfucking Dolph Ziggler right now.
Oh, we hate. But here's the thing, Travis. So I've had more time to process than you. My original reaction was yours. I even went on, and the poll that I did on Twitter that I always do, the spit and swallow poll, all 4 options were fuck Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
It was how did you feel about SmackDown tonight? Hashtag spit or swallow. And then all the options were just fuck Dolph Ziggler.
Right.
But here's the thing. Otis knows what happened the last time Dolph got involved. And instead of doing what I think he should have done and sucking it up and going and fighting for the woman that he wants.
Go whoop Dolph Ziggler's ass, yeah.
He tucked tail and left. So that's on Otis.
You're right.
Mandy knows what Dolph Ziggler's doing, and she let Dolph sit down. So that's on Mandy as well.
Touché.
She knew.
Touche.
I've had time to process this. So as much as I love Otis and as much as it hurt to see his little heartbreak, you got to suck that shit up and go over there and fight for the woman you love, Otis. You can't tuck tail and leave.
He's sensitive, Matt. You know that.
Also, fuck Dolph Ziggler. Like, I'm not letting that go. Like, fuck Dolph.
We can't just completely eliminate the fuck Dolph Ziggler because we know Otis. Otis is sensitive. He's a gentle giant. He's a kind-hearted big man. You know, and it's just there was nobody there to give him a hug afterwards or anything. You know what I mean?
He had to walk all the way back to the arena without his sleeves on his jacket, carrying the flowers.
Outside,
he didn't.
Man.
Carrying the flowers he didn't get to give to fucking Mandy. He even talked to Tucker about, you know, is he really worthy of Mandy and all this? He was all in his head about it, and then this happened, and fuck Dolph Ziggler.
Also, though, this more so is on Otis for taking so long to get there, having her sitting there waiting.
Well, I'm curious to see how this plays out because she did text him and say she was running late. So I don't know where that text came from. Maybe Dolph texted Otis under the guise of Mandy or something.
Maybe this is all a ploy between Dolph and Sonya Deville, and Sonya Deville sent that text because she would have better access to her phone than Dolph does.
That could be. But props to my boy Tucker. I know I talk shit about how he shouldn't be the guy getting Otis ready for this, and I don't change that opinion. But he went directly on Twitter and basically said, fuck that. I'm coming for you, Dolph. Otis is my brother, and I'm not going to let you do him like that. So Tucker's coming for Otis. He's defending Otis, or he's coming for Dolph. He's going to defend Otis. That's a good brother right there.
It is.
SmackDown actually started off pretty good. We had Carmella come out for a Moment of Bliss with Nikki and Alexa. They actually were talking about their celebrity crushes at first, and Brad Pitt for some reason a lot. And then they did the whole like, why aren't Carmella and Bayley?
Brad Pitt, man.
Yeah, I know. They did the whole like, why aren't Carmella and Bayley friends anymore, and what happened? And then Bayley came out.
I didn't know Carmella and Bayley were friends before.
Oh yeah, there was a whole thing back when they were both still in NXT. They called themselves Baymella. They were like the best of friends. All this shit.
A whole bunch of shit I never saw. Gotcha.
Basically, Carmella blamed it on Sasha because, you know, as us white people do, you blame it on the black person. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's why we're not friends anymore. It's the black person's fault.
Right? Got it.
Just how it rolls. I blame everything on Travis, and he's in Texas. So,
where they blame everything on me too.
Yeah. Bayley comes out and says she
they
pities
hate
Carmella.
Mexicans, yet they still blame me for the Mexicans. Even though
is it not your fault? Is it not your fault?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm in Mexico. Sorry, there's Mexicans in Mexico.
No. you are in the territory formerly known as Mexico.
No,
Travis.
this is fucking Mexico. If you look around this place and look at the population here, you look around at this place and tell me this is not Mexico. I live in fucking Mexico.
You mean it's not all white guys in pickup trucks with cowboy hats and guns?
No.
Oh.
They all live in one section of the city. They're all together in one spot.
Let me ask you this question, though. When you moved from Illinois to Florida and then from Florida to Texas and, abandoned your best friend here in Illinois in the winter, did your dick get bigger when you got to Texas? Like, is it true everything's bigger in Texas? Did it get bigger while you were there?
A little bit.
Okay. Because I drove when I came to visit in Texas. As soon as we crossed the state border, I checked, and I guess you have to live there for a little while because there was no change.
Yeah. Well, you gotta absorb the Texas.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
So anyway, the whole Bailey and Carmella
thing. I
thing
got here on Valentine's Day, and it was still the same.
Okay.
But a little bit later.
Beautiful. The whole Bailey and Carmella thing continued. Then Mella said, fuck it, let's go have this match right now for the title. And Travis, this was actually a damn good match. Like, Bailey and Carmella have a good chemistry together. It made Bailey look good. Carmella looked excellent in this match. Bailey ends up, there was a lot of false finishes. The crowd was really, really behind Carmella in this match. And it was a really good crowd tonight.
Were they really behind Carmella, or were they just not all about Bailey?
They were behind Carmella. The way they were cheering was for Carmella more so than it seemed against Bailey. But Bailey ends up winning by putting her feet on the ropes after a shit ton of false finishes. It was a really entertaining match.
The whole added leverage on the rope thing.
Yep.
Got it.
And then Bailey, of course, attacks Carmella after the match, which then prompts Naomi to come out. And Naomi came out looking like a piece of the best bubblegum I've ever seen in my life. In all pink. Even her fro had pink in her fro. It was like bubblegum pink. You're just going to have to go look, Travis. I can't even do it.
I mean, justice. I will. I fully plan on it. Now that you've mentioned this, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to.
Naomi gets in Bailey's face.
Have I talked about my gripes with Hulu and SmackDown?
Yes, frequently.
Yeah. How the shit don't come out till fucking Sunday because assholes. Go ahead.
So Naomi comes. Bailey and Naomi and Carmella work together and take Bailey out. Then later on in the night, Carmella says that everyone saw how she got cheated. She wants a rematch. She's going to beat Bailey and she's going to be the next women's champion. And then, of course, we also interview Naomi, who says that Bailey's never beaten her. She deserves the match and she's going to beat Bailey and become the next women's champion. So next week on SmackDown, it's Naomi versus Carmella, the winner to face Bailey at Super Showdown.
I will be home in time to watch next week, though. So,
We'll see.
Well, there's no we'll see. I'm off that day, so I'll be home.
After that, there's not
for a favor, and I'm not doing it. Go ahead.
After that, there's not a whole lot to talk about, really. We had Sheamus beat Shorty G and Apollo Crews in a handicap match.
Man, poor Apollo Crews.
We had a Sammy and Cesaro segment where Sammy was playing a ukulele and Cesaro had a cowbell. And, of course, Elias came down, and there was this whole thing between them. And then they attacked Elias, and then Braun Strowman came down. Sans IC title, mind you. Like, I was wondering, where the fuck did you put that belt? You are now a singles champion, Braun. I need you to carry the belt everywhere you go. When you come down to the ring, you bring the belt with you. Yeah. And then, of course, Braun cleans house, saves Elias, runs Sammy off. Some dumb security guard that Sammy brought down to keep, people from interfering. Hit Braun in the back, and he got fucked up for his trouble.
Right.
Hulk Hogan was on SmackDown via satellite because just like with Goldberg, they said Hulk Hogan's going to be on SmackDown, but didn't tell us it was via satellite. So
and they say it's via satellite. That also means it was pre-taped, but Yeah.
Well, no, because he interacted. He might have because he interacted with Bray Wyatt, kind of like Goldberg did. So it might have been.
They recorded their shit ahead of time. Because was he in the ring?
No, it was the back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah,
on the Titantron.
They pre-taped that shit.
So basically, they talked to Hogan about how he's getting inducted with the NWO, and then they started talking about Hogan fighting Goldberg, and then Hogan said the Fiend better watch out because he fought Goldberg in his prime and lost, and if the Fiend isn't lucky, it's going to go the same way for the Fiend. Bray Wyatt comes out. Yeah, go ahead.
So he told the Fiend he should look out because Hogan fought Goldberg in his prime and lost. But the Fiend should look out for Goldberg, who's like 80 years old now, while the Fiend's in his prime.
Why are you making me do this, Travis? I was going to try and get through this whole segment without trash talking Hogan, but now
I don't understand why. I mean, this
now
is
I have
to.
to.
Just go ahead.
You do realize we are talking about a man who not only thinks he is the greatest thing to ever happen to anything ever.
I mean, he's only the greatest thing that ever happened to wrestling, but, go ahead.
No, thinks he is the greatest thing that ever happened to wrestling.
No, he is. Because everything that you have now is because of him. But go ahead.
Disagree.
No, you don't. There's no disagreement here. Everything that exists now was built on the back of Hulk Hogan in the 80s. It is what it is. You don't have to like it. It is what it is. But go ahead.
Everything we have now was built by Vince McMahon, and Hogan was the right guy in the right time at the right place, and they could have done it with Warrior, and they could have done it with Macho Man.
They couldn't.
They could have done it with quite a few
because
people.
Warrior wasn't that guy. They tried to do it with Warrior. It didn't work.
Because he was no Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they already had Hulk Hogan. They could have made him Hulk Hogan if we didn't have Hulk Hogan.
They couldn't have made him Hulk Hogan.
Anyway.
Listen, I love the Ultimate Warrior more than certain dead relatives of mine, all right? But I recognize what he was and what he wasn't. There are things that Hogan could do that Warrior just couldn't do. Like we talked about his
promos. A cohesive promo?
Yeah, exactly. We talked about his promos. Nobody knows what the fuck this man was talking about in his promos. He just got really fucking intense, and that was enough. But that's not enough if you're trying to carry a company.
So anyway, Hulk Hogan thinks he's the greatest thing to happen to everything. And Travis thinks he's the greatest thing to happen to the wrestling business. That being said, of course, Travis, this racist, egocentric fuck, would think that at 70 goddamn years old, he got beat by Goldberg in his prime, and he is still better than Bray Wyatt right now facing an old Goldberg because he thought he was better than Goldberg then. Clearly, he still thinks he's probably better than Bray Wyatt. So it's like, if Goldberg in his prime beat the greatest of all time, then of course you're going to have problems with him now because he's an egocentric fuck.
Well, at the time, Hogan was the biggest star in the history of wrestling. So Stone Cold hadn't hit that yet. He was on his way, but it hadn't happened yet. He was there. He was on the cusp. It wasn't there yet.
No.
So at the time, Hulk Hogan was the biggest star in the history of wrestling.
I'm just going to say this. I pray to God they don't do what I feel like they're going to do because I swear to God, if Goldberg beats The Fiend at Super Showdown and then I've got to sit through WrestleMania 36 and watch a fucking The Fiend versus Hulk Hogan match, I might just quit.
Yo.
No.
Let me tell you.
The only acceptable thing would be Hogan goes to drop a leg, breaks a hip, and is done forever.
Here's the thing.
And The Fiend no-sells it.
The fact that, like, if that happened, it won't happen. It'll never happen. But if it did, let me tell you how funny that would be to me. I would laugh at least twice a day, every day between now and WrestleMania. Well, between the time they announced it and WrestleMania. I just wake up in the morning and chuckle because I know how pissed you are about it. It's not going to happen, so don't worry. But,
supposedly Baron Corbin was fined and suspended from tonight's SmackDown because of his actions last week where he took a drink out of the crowd and poured it over that fan's head. He was fined and suspended for misconduct or unprofessional conduct. So our main event is The Miz and Morrison versus Roman Reigns and a mystery partner. The mystery partner turns out to be Daniel Bryan. I don't care about this Baron Corbin Roman Reigns story anymore. Like, this was a fine match. Morrison and Daniel Bryan did some good shit. That was cool to see. I don't know why Morrison and Miz are fighting Roman Reigns or why Daniel Bryan was his partner, especially when the Fiend's supposed to change everybody after they fight. Like, I don't know what was going on here, but
So wait,
it was
it was a mystery partner thing.
yeah.
Oh, see, in situations like that, I like for that to be like a returning guy, you know?
Something,
Yeah.
not Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Of course, Baron Corbin had bought himself a ticket. So even though he was suspended, he was allowed to be there because he bought a ticket. And of course, Baron Corbin jumps the barricade after Roman Reigns gets the win. And as soon as the 3 count is done, he takes his scepter and strikes Roman Reigns in the temple and then leaves, not through the crowd, but back up the ramp and out the back, even though technically he's not supposed to be there.
He's not allowed to be back there.
Yeah. So, Travis, I'm spitting all over this because what they did to Mandy and Otis. And
yeah, I hear you. And from what else you described to me, it was very underwhelming. So, yeah, I'm going to spit it.
All right. So we're on Raw, NXT, or AEW. Where are we going next?
Let's go NXT.
Okay. We kick it off with Roderick Strong coming out and calling out the Velveteen Dream because he does not appreciate Velveteen Dream putting his wife and child that close to Velveteen Dream's crotch.
Didn't even notice.
Well, we talked about it.
I know we did. I'm just saying, like, at the time when it happened, like, I wouldn't have known had you not told me.
But instead of Velveteen Dream, we get Bronson Reed instead because Strong attacked Bronson Reed backstage while they were looking for Ciampa last week. And it's Thick Boy season, Travis. I didn't know if you know that, but, I mean, that's good news for you and I.
Hell yeah.
It's Valentine's Day. It's Thick Boy season.
It's cold outside. That's when they love us.
Mm-hmm. Get you a grizzly bear or a teddy bear, however you want to look at it.
Yep,
some little meat on it.
Big chocolate teddy bear right here, man.
Obviously, Roderick Strong, because of the feud going out with Velveteen Dream, wins the match.
Wait,
the Dream.
Before this happens, because let's talk about his promo, because he said something during this promo, and I'm like, yeah, no shit. And he was like, this isn't, I love my brothers or whatever with the UE, but it's not about them. This isn't even about the North American Championship. I'm like, yeah, no shit, it's not, because you don't have it anymore. Like,
well, the reason he said that, though, was because...
I know why he said it.
Okay.
Because he was supposed to face Velveteen Dream for blah, 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 blah. But like, dude, you lost that. You know who he lost it to? You know who he lost it to?
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, motherfucker. And one thing about Keith Lee, let's just talk about this for a second. Because there was no Keith Lee on this show, but I'm going to talk about him anyway.
Wasn't.
What do you mean?
Did you watch it on Hulu?
Yeah.
You probably didn't see that then, so keep going.
Anyway, for me, there was no Keith Lee. But however, I realized, was it yesterday? It was either yesterday or today. Either way, I realized that Keith Lee's theme music, his entrance music, I think is my favorite entrance music in WWE right now.
Okay.
And I realized that because I was, on my way, because I work downtown. So, when you work downtown, you get to a certain point, and at that point, you got to do a little bit of walking.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm walking into the building, I'm like, not feeling this right now. But then, I went to YouTube and just like, what can I'm going to turn on Keith Lee's music as I walk into work right now. And let me tell you, I felt limitless.
Okay.
Like, there are lines in that music where I'm just like, yo, this is fucking dope. Like that whole thing when he just like, shed my blood, sweat, and tears on the gridiron. I've been the greatest for years, and you just still trying. Like, bruh. It reminded me of when somebody who I really just am not into as a rapper, but like hit one line that made me go, oh shit, that'd be 2 Chainz. Where he said in Birthday song.
Wait. I was gonna say, was it All I Want for My Birthday is a Big Booty Hoe?
No, that's not the line that got me. But it was in that song. Okay. When he said, you the realest nigga breathing if I hold my breath. I'm like, bruh, where you get that from? But yeah,
I'll give you that.
Holy shit, you just got loud as fuck. What the hell just happened?
I didn't do nothing.
That was weird. Keep
Yeah, you
talking.
can fix it in editing.
I mean, I can. It's just that was weird. I wasn't ready for that.
So Dream is on the Tron, and he's promising to take care of Roddy's wife and fulfill all of her needs should anything happen to Roderick Strong. Should he not be able to take care of his wife and child, he'll be there. And Roddy is getting pissed, and I don't blame him.
Oh, I me neither. It was funny, but I get it.
So did you not see the video that they did with Mark Henry hyping the Keith Lee Dominic Dijakovic match?
Wait, did I? Yeah, I saw that.
Well, that's how Keith.
Wait. No, I didn't see that. I saw something about it on YouTube. That's what it was.
So that wasn't good enough for Hulu. Did you see the stuff with the Broserweights trying to make their way to Portland?
I did.
So they got these skits. They're going to drive to Portland in a car, but not. So they impound the car.
Wait. Okay, they're going to drive in the car, but what?
Neither of them have a license, and Pete Dunne is driving. So the car gets impounded.
On the wrong side of the road, by the way.
Well, yeah, because he's from the UK. He's, that's where they drive.
Yeah. On the wrong side
You
of the road.
think Matt Riddle would take a break from smoking whatever the fuck he was smoking to let him know, hey, you're on the wrong side of the road. You need to get it over before he got pulled over.
Told him.
Yeah. Car gets impounded, so them and their trophy need to make their way to Portland. Next time we see them, they're riding in a paddle boat, and Dunn's like, "Is this how you plan to get to Portland?" And Riddle's like, "No, this is just what I do to think, and I've got a plan." And his plan is to lie to his tag team partner about hitching a ride on a plane, and then them climbing into the cargo hold of Triple H's private jet, and basically riding Triple H's coattails all the way to Portland.
I mean, whatever works, bro. Like, I don't condone lying to your partner, because I would never lie to you, Matt, ever.
Okay.
But, whatever you got to do.
My question is
what's
why?
that face for, Matt? Would you say you don't believe me?
No, not even a little bit.
It's understandable.
I know Travis way too well, and I know that if the ends justify the means for Travis, not only would he sell me down the river, but he would lie directly to my face and not even feel bad about it.
Yeah, you're right.
So I don't know why they didn't buy a plane ticket. Conventional means of travel.
I mean, they had to get the trophy there too.
Yeah. Well, anyway, did you see Dakota Kai versus Candice LeRae?
Again?
Well, this would have been the singles match between Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae, not between Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox.
Yeah, they did the Candice LeRae like 2 weeks before that.
No, Candice LeRae came out and attacked her and has been preventing her from hurting Tegan Knox, but this was their match. Did you see it or not?
Wait, which one is Candice LeRae?
Johnny Gargano's wife, the little blonde.
Yeah, like the night after the first, like NXT after TakeOver that night, they had a match.
Okay. Did you see this match or not, Travis?
No.
Okay. Did you see Gargano versus Cameron Grimes?
Yeah.
That was a hell of a match.
It was. Well, tell you what I thought of this match. Let me, let you know what I saw. This match reminded me of back in the days, we were like, early high school, when we both had the SmackDown video game.
Mm-hmm.
And we both played it regularly, so we were both very good at it. And we were just both.
One was better than the other, but keep going.
I didn't want to tell people how much better I was at the game than you. I'm just
trying
to,
okay. Yeah.
So anyway, but we were both very good at this game, and we were just both constantly reversing each other over and over again. Where in the end, it came down to like it was actually better not to try to do a move because the reversals were doing more damage than actual moves.
Yeah.
That's what this match felt like to me. It was just, I do this, I reverse that. You do this, I reverse that. You do this, I reverse that. I'm like, I'm over that. I'm kind of over this. Don't keep doing that. Oh, you're gonna keep doing that. All right. All right. I see what you're going for. It was just,
So I'm going to tell you how I viewed it because I've been watching NXT longer than you. I've seen Johnny Gargano become tag team champions, North American champion, and finally NXT champion. And I've seen Cameron Grimes, who just barely lost the NXT breakout tournament. So this, for me, was watching one of the best that NXT has to offer, the NXT darling, some might say the Daniel Bryan of NXT, and an up-and-coming star in Cameron Grimes, showing us that Cameron Grimes can hang with a Johnny Gargano. So this was more of a showcase of Cameron Grimes while still giving Gargano the win because you don't want him losing heading into his takeover match.
I see. So this all hangs on the crux of us giving a shit about Johnny Gargano.
Correct.
See, that's the problem. I don't.
Yeah, I know. Did you see Leo Rush versus Angel Garza?
Oh, it was another Leo match and I didn't get to see it. God damn it.
Did you see Bianca Belair's promo?
I did.
So Bianca comes out more of well, first she comes out and just beats the dog shit out of Santana Garrett.
Sure does. Like,
she should have stayed in WoW. Like, she should have took her cape and flew her ass back to WoW Women of Wrestling and avoided this ass beating because she didn't need it.
Yeah, she got her ass thoroughly whooped.
No, Bianca like tackled her right off the bat, right as the bell rang, and just fucked her up savagely.
Didn't even break.
And then
it was just like, yeah, I'm done.
But Bianca wasn't, because when that was done, she grabbed the mic and said, "Listen, I keep coming out here and telling you, stop looking past me.
Mm-hmm.
You got to beat me, and you won't beat me. I'm going to WrestleMania, and if Charlotte wants to fight the NXT champion at WrestleMania, it's gonna be me. Rhea, stop pretending like I'm not here. Stop ignoring me." And Rhea comes out and says, "Oh, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just going to beat you." And then she gets hit with the KOD and gets left laying.
Yep, gets her ass whooped too. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I don't believe she's going to win this match this weekend, but still.
I don't either, but despite that, more than anything now, I want it to be, and I know you hate multi-person matches, but I want it to be a triple threat match.
God.
Charlotte versus Bianca versus Rhea at WrestleMania. Because if you and I are both correct and she is not going to win this match, it is the only way we are getting Bianca at WrestleMania. And I would like to see Bianca in a title match at WrestleMania.
I feel you. I don't think they'll do
I just,
that. But, you know.
I feel like it's too, like, Rhea just won that title, and I don't see her, with the way the crowd was behind her and everything, getting that belt, being a transitional champion and losing it to, like, the first person she defends it against after Shayna.
Well, from what I've seen, because I don't, I'm not as familiar with NXT as you are, but they don't seem the type, like, in NXT to do that anyway. Like, when
Not
people
really,
become
no.
champ, they hold on to those belts for a while.
Yeah, they want to build them as champ and let them have a run with it. So, did you see Tommaso Ciampa's promo in the school classroom?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, that's not okay. Did you see Cole versus Kushida, the main event?
Yes.
Yeah. Adam Cole defeats Asian Marty McFly. And then, unfortunately, see, now you were talking about Keith Lee's music, and I meant to make this point. What Keith Lee's music does for you, that's what Ciampa and Aleister Black's music do for me. Anytime I hear Ciampa, just the "No One Will Survive" part, like that opening, or Aleister Black's music, it gets me hyped, Travis. It gets me ready for anything I need to do. Like, I'm just ready to go, just thinking about it. Like,
yeah.
I'm
I
all
have
about
plans
that
for
shit.
Keith Lee's music. Maybe one day I'll get to implement this plan, but I definitely have plans for Keith Lee's music.
Okay. So Cole defeats Kushida. Again, saw that coming. You're not going to have your champion lose going into TakeOver.
Right.
Ciampa comes down, and unfortunately, all we get is a face-to-face.
One thing
Okay.
about NXT that I've noticed, and it's really isn't just an NXT problem, it's just more prevalent in NXT. It's a WWE problem in general, and I don't even know if it's like their fault or just people's fault who watch or who are in the arenas. But especially in NXT, nobody gets booed.
Okay, so that was
Certain
part of that
people just
conversation.
get cheered more than others.
That
But
was
nobody
part of the
really gets
conversation. Well, that was the conversation that we were having last week where I asked you if there are really any heels in NXT. And the reason that came up is because I was listening to the Busted Open podcast and Bully Ray and Dave LaGreca were talking about how no one gets booed in NXT. So watching NXT, how do you perceive who's really a heel and who's really a babyface? If Adam Cole's supposed to be a heel by presentation, yeah, I can see that. But also, he comes down to the ring. He does the bay, the crowd chants with him. He does the boom, the crowd chants with him. Crowd chants Adam Cole through his matches. And as you said, nobody's getting booed.
Here's
So
the problem.
is he really a heel?
Well, here's the thing. I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
I think that's a product of them doing all their shows at Full Sail, because you pretty much get the same people there every week watching this show. So they just like who they like. And if they don't like somebody, they just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like the deepest of fans are the ones that go to NXT shows, you know? So
No,
it's
I
just-
agree.
so
They
it's
need to move
just-
out of Full Sail.
Yeah. So, but once again, that's why when we had the discussion before about why moving to Raw or SmackDown is a call up, because in NXT is where you kind of hone shit and you get better because you're not going to get booed there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you get time to figure things out, like get more cheers instead of getting booed because you suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also you get called up and then you don't get utilized in the same way you were getting utilized in NXT. That got you the recognition and the cheer from those fans. Like right now, as much as I hate to say it, my boy Aleister Black. They are not using him in an effective way for the character that he had when he was in NXT that got over, that worked. Why are you not taking what worked and implementing it on the main roster if it worked? You know? It'd be like taking Velveteen Dream and then not letting him cut promos or do the Prince thing. Having him dress that way, but stripping away the gimmick, or just having him come in and do squash matches and not letting him be the Dream.
So what was it that Black was doing that he's not doing now?
Well,
I didn't really watch, so I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
He was having much more, like right now they've got him doing squash matches. Basically what you saw with Buddy Murphy were the kind of matches he was having with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't running through and squashing people. He wasn't sitting in the ring cutting weird promos about nonsensical stuff. Everything that he said in NXT had to do with his opponent and where he was going. It wasn't, I feel like I'm in a cage and blah, blah, blah. Like it was aggression, but it was directed at his opponent. He wasn't sitting in dark rooms in suits, cutting promos. He wasn't begging people to pick a fight with him. He was coming out. He was whooping ass. And when the feud got to that point to where it needed him to say something, he said something. Like with Velveteen Dream, he had an awesome feud with Velveteen Dream. And the whole feud was Velveteen Dream wanted him to acknowledge, or wanted Black to acknowledge Velveteen Dream. Remember we watched that match?
Yeah.
And until we got to the match, all he did was ignore Velveteen Dream. Would not give him the satisfaction. And even though he beat him, Velveteen Dream earned his respect. But it was how he got over in the matches, and it was his demeanor.
Okay. I see what you mean. I can see why that can be a problem, but I can also see why they would think that wouldn't work on Raw and SmackDown.
I mean, Austin could cut promos, but I mean, that was a lot of the appeal of Stone Cold was he came down, whooped ass, and left.
Yeah, but he also talked a lot of shit. So it's just like
Black can talk shit. That's what I'm saying. When he needs to, he can cut a good promo. He can cut a decent promo, but it's got to be directed at someone. He's got to have a feud. You can't just have him come out week after week and have him talk nonsense because he's supposed to be this dark, mysterious character. So you feed him weird, dark, mysterious bullshit lines, but you're not doing anything with him. He needs a feud. That Buddy Murphy thing was great because he had a feud and he showed out. He had a purpose when he was with Ricochet for that little bit. He's been purposeless since then, begging for a fight but not giving him one. Now he's supposed to be going to look for a fight, but he's not really targeting anyone.
Okay. I feel you. Like I said, I know what you're saying, and I can understand that. But like I said, I also see why they would think that wouldn't work on Raw and SmackDown, because once again, the audience is different, and it's just you know, is in those, on Raw and SmackDown, they're trying to appeal to a more wide audience, I guess. And so it would be to them. I'm not saying they're right. I'm saying to them, they want to appeal to more people, and that thing probably wouldn't work to the masses they're trying to appeal to.
But what they're doing now would appeal to them?
What they're trying to do it's just not working.
Oh, because it's very poor execution.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say they're trying. What they're failing to do.
Okay.
The idea that they're failing to execute.
In order to fail, it's something you have to try to do it. That's kind of how that works.
What were we talking about? Oh, I'll give you one better. The Ascension. The Ascension were fantastic in NXT. Travis, they were beating guys for 10 counts, 5 counts, 10 counts. And then they brought them up to the main roster, and they had them squashed by every fucking retired tag team that there was on an episode of Monday Night Raw.
You can't move guys up and have them squash your main roster tag teams like that. You can't have them 10 count the Usos. What is wrong with you?
You can't have them 10 count the Usos, but you don't have to have fucking Oh boy.
Oh, okay, you're there. But you can't what?
But you don't have to have Road Dogg and Billy Gunn and Farouk and Bradshaw and whoever else come out and beat the shit out of them, make them look like trash when they were a dominant team. You can have them come out and beat fucking Hawkins and Ryder for a 10 count, or Primo and Epico, or some other tag team you're not really using.
Isn't one of them dead?
Who?
I don't know. One of those Cologne twins.
No, they're not dead.
I know. I mean, he just,
they haven't been there.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ciampa comes down for face-to-face. So not good enough for Hulu, NXT edition. Dakota Kai defeats Candice LeRae, and then Candice LeRae, because she got cheated, goes after Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai hits her with a ring bell in the stomach and then tries to take her out with the ring bell. But Tegan Knox shows up and attacks her, and they go at it post-match. Little brawl there. So more Dakota Kai, Tegan Knox. That feud is not finished, even after the uppercut with the knee brace. And I'm okay with that. Leo Rush defeated Angel Garza. So Leo Rush is the new #1 contender for Jordan Devlin's Cruiserweight Championship, NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and that is a match I'm really looking forward to. That's going to be a damn good match. Jordan Devlin comes out and says that Leo Rush is just the next stop on Devlin's Cruiserweight Tour, Championship Tour.
Okay.
Ciampa cuts a promo. He is at Full Sail. He is in one of the classrooms. It is the same classroom that all of NXT was sitting in when he broke his neck, and he came out and relinquished his NXT title, and he's watching it on a projector as it's happening, talking about it and what that moment meant, and then what he's done to get back to where he is, and basically saying nothing is going to stop him from defeating Adam Cole and getting Goldie back. And last but not least, this video that they put together between it highlights Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic, and it's Mark Henry talking about why Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic are so great and why they're two of the best big men and what they are doing to what big men are. And they even showed some legendary big men like Mark Henry, like The Undertaker, like Kane, so on and so forth, and how these guys are not only filling those shoes but upping what a big man can be, and how fantastic their matches have been, and how he can't wait for this next match, and he thinks it's going to be their best one yet. And it was a really cool video. He did a really good job.
Interesting. Trying to make me care about Keith Lee beating Dijakovic again.
We hope he does.
Oh, he will.
Don't fuck it up, don't fuck it up, NXT.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
All right, Travis, from what you saw, NXT, spit a swallow.
I don't know, man. I think I'll gargle it.
Well, hold on. Did you enjoy the stuff with Velveteen Dream?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the stuff with the Broserweights?
Not really. I don't feel Matt Riddle like that.
See, I don't either, but him and Pete Dunne work for me.
Sometimes they do for me. Sometimes they don't. This got old for me pretty quick, though.
You enjoyed Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
And then you didn't really care about Johnny Gargano.
Didn't give a shit. Nope.
And you didn't really care about Adam Cole.
Nope.
So it's 50-50, really.
Yeah, I'll just gargle.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to swallow. Raw or AEW?
AEW.
Did you like this week's AEW, Travis? Because in my opinion, I think this is the best, most cohesive episode of AEW we've got so far, but there's still problems.
It was meh. I didn't dislike it.
Okay. We got Paige and Omega defeating SCU for the tag team titles. The Dark Order is watching. Huh?
So once again, making my point
About
you and talking about Adam Page having his drinking problem. Like, he's just fine. He still gets the job done.
Dark Order is watching. So
last week, he lost the match last week. That wasn't for the titles. The titles were on the line this week. He made sure they won.
I didn't say he lost because of his drinking problem. I just said he lost. And we didn't even talk about how they took a beer out of his hand and then all of a sudden a pitcher magically appeared in his hand.
Yeah.
And I don't know where he got that pitcher from, but that was impressive. It was a nice little bit of camera work they did there.
Yeah.
So Dark Order's watching. So, of course, Christopher Daniels runs to the back to go check it out. And then the Dark Order attacks SCU after the match. And the Best Friends are out there to help. And then the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny and the Hybrid 2, who I just cannot stand, join the Dark Order. And then the Young Bucks come out and help SCU. There's a big brawl. Where the fuck's Christopher Daniels? He was supposed to be stopping the Dark Order.
Maybe he got jumped by the Dark Order before they came out.
They should have shown us that. A lot of this is
They might
leading
show
to
us next week.
I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of questions.
Decision, but it's just,
I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of questions for Christopher Daniels next week.
Of course.
I mean, the brawl was cool. There was some good stuff here. The stuff with the Butcher, Bunny, and the Blade, which we've talked about previous weeks, we're going to get into more here in a little bit later, as to just a problem that I have with AEW and the way they do things, that was sparked by a conversation that I had on Twitter. So Santana does an interview with JR, and he's basically saying that, John – so the part of this I didn't like. Like, I liked everything leading up to when he was bitching about him getting stabbed in the eye, and they're like, well, you guys stabbed Moxley in the eye, isn't it only fair? And he's like, oh, well, Moxley had a chance to be part of this group, and he turned it down. So as fucked up as it is that he stabbed me in the eye, that's what he gets for not joining. And it's like, that doesn't track. Like, if this is something terrible, this is something terrible that could have blinded you and how awful and blah, 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 then just because John Moxley didn't join your group doesn't mean he should get stabbed in the eye.
Yeah, it was. But I think what they were going for is because they talked about it right afterwards. He, trying to justify their shit, but he's a piece of shit. So whatever,
Yeah. Then we got Sammy Guevara losing to Dustin Rhodes. That was a really good match. I love watching Dustin and the way they're using him. I stand by my statement. I would love to see, if it's not Moxley, and it probably will be, Dustin beat Jericho and become AEW champion, finally get that main event title that he never got.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for one short run, I'd love to see it. I think he's earned it. And, I mean, for his age, the way he moves in the ring and the shit he does, he just fucking kills it. And then he calls out Jake Hager. And that was really entertaining because he called out Jericho's bitch. And when Sammy turned around, he's like, no, not you. And then Hager got mad. So it looks like we're finally going to see good old fucking Jake Hager wrestle in a ring for AEW, and it'll be against Dustin in his first match. You looking forward to that at all?
Nah, I mean, I look forward to possibly being pleasantly surprised, but I don't expect much.
Were you not a Jack Swagger fan? In-ring wise?
Not especially.
What about the We the People? Were you about that?
I mean, it was one of those things, just like, very, well, this is pre-Trump, but it was very Trumpish.
We also got another Britt Baker promo. Her promos are getting better week to week. So, I mean, good for her.
She's actually something that's gotten better as time has gone. And, I'd say I enjoy it more now than I did at first.
Yeah. Nyla Rose becomes your first ever transgender African American women's champion.
They knocked out 2 of them at once. Which, it's okay. It's just like to see you all do a bit more with your women's division than just the stuff with the title like you're doing now,
No, I understand that, but I also have to say this is probably the best women's match we've seen so far.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Riho doing those Snapdragon suplexes on Nyla, though?
She's so small.
She's 98 pounds, Travis.
It's just
my dick weighs more than she does.
like I'm looking, I'm just like, shit. I just keep thinking every time she does anything, like she's so small.
I worry about her. Like I feel like she's gonna break. No, but it was probably the best women's match we've had. We do have our new women's champion, and this is something great for wrestling as a whole because this is progress. This is a transgender female champion who is acknowledged as a female champion. And of course, you've got the internet trolls who said, this is stupid. She's not a woman, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Travis, but all I have to say is fuck you guys.
Yeah. Who gives a shit? It's
Why you got to be like that?
I don't understand it either. It's just, it's a work. Like, what's wrong with y'all?
Well, they're whether it's a work or not, they're upset that in their opinion, what they consider to be a man is a legitimate female champion. And A, get over yourselves, get over your transphobia, get over your bullshit. She is a woman. She is champion. B,
we've also had men who actually call themselves men who identify as men winning women's titles before. So,
well, there was also a lot of people in the trans community upset with Santina Marella at the Royal Rumble. So it goes both ways.
Yeah, well, I don't like them either.
But they need to get over it. Get over it. She is your women's champion.
Chappelle says, they need to chill.
She is a woman. She is your women's champion. And regardless of how she may or may not have been born, it's a work and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it matters that for transgender women, she is a women's champion. That does matter. Right. Your opinion on whether or not she's a woman or whether or not the way she was born affects her status in the women's division or gives her an advantage doesn't matter. That's
do those same people have a problem with what the fuck's her name? Impact. What's her name?
Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah. What the TNA title? Is that a problem?
Probably not. Probably not. Well, they might. If they're that fucked up that they're going to get this worked up and, just go out of their way to insult her and call her a man, then they're probably not happy that a woman took a man's belt, too. They're probably misogynistic assholes as well.
Gotcha. Well, you know what? Then it makes sense. Yeah, fuck you.
Then we got an Inner Circle interview where we find out that Jon Moxley's going to have to defeat Jeff Cobb before he can take on Jericho. And Travis, you wanted us to make you care about Jeff Cobb. I saw that. You said, make me care about Jeff Cobb.
Who the fuck is Jeff Cobb?
He is a Olympic wrestler who has been working on the independent scene, actual Olympic credits. He has wrestled, I believe, for Guam in the Olympics and done really well. He wrestled somebody who's doing really well right now over in the UFC, I believe is competing for the middleweight championship in the UFC. And he's the guy that showed up in our main event. Mox defeats Santana and then gets jumped by the entire Inner Circle. And of course, Moxley has no friends, so no one comes down to help him. And then if the 5-on-1 beatdown wasn't bad enough, Jericho calls out Jeff Cobb. And this is where the conversation this is where, Rhino. He looked like Rhino, right?
Yeah, I'm like, who the fuck is this dude?
So this is where the conversation that I had on Twitter comes in. So I was talking to one of my mutuals at Raven's Blood. I believe it's 2250. Yeah, 5220. Raven's Blood 5220. She was not happy with the way that Jeff Cobb debuted, and I don't disagree. It's a problem that AEW has been having with debuting people, because if he is supposed to be this opponent for Jon Moxley, if he's supposed to be a big deal, a new part of the inner circle, why are you having him come out after a 5-on-1 beatdown and then have him stand in the back behind everyone? They didn't do a good debut with the Dark Order. They didn't do a good one with the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. Now they fuck up this Jeff Cobb. They really, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're trying to be an alternative and change the way that we've been programmed to how people should be debuted. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe WWE has programmed us to, this is how a debut is supposed to be done. So when they do something different, we're like, that's wrong. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I don't like it.
It wasn't like me saying like the way I wasn't saying the way they did this is wrong. I'm saying I didn't even know who the fuck he was, so I didn't care.
And that's the point. They gave us a little promo package, but like for the people that haven't watched him out on the independents who need to know what he is, give him some fucking build. The WWE would build those promo packages for weeks before they debuted someone. And then if they debuted, they would debut in a big way. It wouldn't be coming down during a 5-on-1 fucking beatdown and hitting your finisher and then standing behind all the other important people.
It's not even just them, because even WCW did that. Like, think about how they introduced, this turned out horribly. Don't get me wrong, it turned out horribly. But the way they introduced Glacier, there was build to that, Like, it was like, he came out like, look at all this presentation as I come out and all this kind of shit. It turned out to be for nothing because Glacier was trash. But
whether or not this pisses AEW fans off or not, ladies and gentlemen, Travis and I have just determined that the debut of the Yeti and the debut of Glacier have been better than the majority of the debuts that AEW has done, whether it be Luther, the Bunny, the Blade, and the Butcher, the Dark Order, now Jeff Cobb. The Yeti and Glacier had better debuts.
No. The Yeti.
The Yeti and Glacier had better debuts than just about everyone they've introduced since they started on TV.
Not Loch Ness, though. They were better than Loch Ness, but not better than the Yeti.
Jeff Cobb looks cool too, man. Like he's got a look about him. He resembles Rhino. He looks like he's got power. He hit the Tour of the Islands. That was a cool fucking move.
Yeah.
It should have been better.
It should have been better.
Shout out to Ravens Blood 5220 for that conversation and putting that in my head to talk about. I do appreciate it. And then the last thing we didn't talk about, MJF defeats Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus comes down to make the save.
Yeah.
We get some Luchasaurus.
I got a Luchasaurus on this show.
I want him to have a fucking singles match, like a full-on singles match, maybe a feud of some significance so I can see what he does.
And what's his name? Marco Stunt? That's his name?
Mm-hmm.
They need to be like a full-on tag team, the two of them, because he's so huge and Marco Stunt's so small. It would be so great. Like, that needs to be the tag team right there. Go for those tag team titles. Get them off of Kenny Omega and Adam Page, because who gives a shit about Kenny Omega? And, whatever.
I'm with you on that. Don't give two shits about Kenny Omega, but I am so waiting for that buckshot to Kenny Omega's face. I cannot wait to see my boy Adam Page flip that rope and shove that elbow so far down Kenny Omega's smug little fucking face.
Yeah. Especially let's get through this whole Pac or whatever that is that's going on,
Dean Malenko, Hulk Hogan, Kenny Omega.
That's serious, folks, if you don't know, because the level of hatred this man has for Dean Malenko.
And I talked about this, and I think I talked about it on Twitter, and I think we talked about it last week, is a lot of the reason why I don't like Kenny Omega is, everyone calls him the greatest wrestler in the world, and I just don't see it, and it's because I don't like the way he wrestles. I don't like the exaggerated facials and all of the pointing and the arm waving and the over-exaggerated shit. I'm not a fan of it. Mm-hmm. I might have been a fan of it when I was 5. I'm not a fan of it anymore. Now I'm more into guys like Aleister Black. A little more subtle, a little harder hitting.
A little nuanced,
Yeah. So, Maybe it's just my change in taste. But the more people try and shove Kenny Omega down my throat and praise him, the less I like him. So,
I feel you.
AEW, spit or swallow.
I mean, we got a Luchasaurus on this one, but I didn't really get Luchasaurus. He was just there for a brief little pop-out, gone. I mean, what else did I get?
You got MJF.
Oh, we got to see. There was a moment there that I'm like, haha, I recognize that when he hit him with the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you who are familiar with the rise and fall of HKW will know there was some utilization of the ring.
Chicago screw job.
The Chicago screw job. Yes, yes. Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
Are we just dropping the evil Brandy Rhodes group thing?
So they've been working on that on AEW Dark, is my understanding, but it looks like they've kind of split, I guess, Luther and Mel, or Luther, yeah, I think Luther and Mel attacked somebody, I don't know. It's happening on Dark, and I haven't been watching Dark, but I've read some things on Twitter. So it sounds like it got poorly received, and they're working on just splitting the group up and being done with it.
So now there's nothing to do with Awesome Kong again. Okay, cool. Moving
on. You got the box match against Santana. New women's champion, first ever African Americans transgender female champion.
Yeah, but it felt like once again just a whole lot of I don't care.
The bunny came out.
Yeah, but here's the thing. At that point, I was in the middle of other things. Like I just got a delivery at the same time, so I kind of saw, but didn't really.
So are you spitting or gargling?
I think I'm gargling it. Yeah.
Okay. So Travis is going to gargle. So that's one spit and two gargles. Let's see what he does for Monday Night Raw. We kick it off. KO and the Viking Raiders attack the Disciples. And Joe is back. So apparently the rumors of his wellness policy violation were greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, what's going on? He was supposed to be suspended. That's what the rumors said. That's what those dirt sheets that you all love so much told us.
Yes. Samoa Joe attacks Rollins.
Didn't be that he just had a fucking concussion, so he was off for a week. Damn.
Kohita clutch. And then Becky comes down, and apparently Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, the Viking Raiders, Buddy Murphy, AOP all know that they are nowhere near the stars that Becky is because they just got out of the way and let the man command the ring.
Yeah.
And we had a great match. Becky and Asuka is always a great match. Asuka and Charlotte is always a great match. The common denominator there, ladies and gentlemen, is Asuka. Treat Asuka better, please. Please treat Asuka better. She is such a treasure. But that's not what's important. It's not important that Becky defeated Asuka in this rematch for the women's title. What's important is Shayna's a biter.
She is.
Shayna Baszler came out post-match, attacked Becky, beat Becky down, which is great because Shayna Baszler versus Becky going into WrestleMania will be a great feud. Should be entertaining as shit. Shayna's fantastic and mean, and my wife Kate really likes Shayna. I mean, it's no Shotzi Blackheart, but she really likes Shayna. So Shayna then takes out her mouth guard and then proceeds to give Becky one of the most violent and intense hickeys on the back of her neck that I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, man, she needs to have a discussion with somebody because, you can't be a queen of spades if you biting.
She sucked so hard that when she let go, she had blood dripping down her face.
Before we go any further, let's talk about, the director and the camera people. Shoot that better. Do better. All right? Because during that whole part, they kept moving the camera up so you could see the back of Becky's neck and saw there was no marks there. And I'm just like, yo, stop doing that. Keep the angle low. Keep the angle low.
Becky needs to come out next week with her hair in a ponytail and a bandage on the back of her neck. We need to see that this was something because this was fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, don't turn Shayna into a fucking vampire. Don't do that. Do not make her the successor to Gangrel, and don't do to her what you did to my boy Mordecai.
About to say Kevin Thorne.
Unless, of course, you're going to bring back Ariel. If you bring back Ariel, I'm down with it. Make Shayna a vampire. Make them lesbian vampires. Ariel and Shayna, I'm for that. But other than that,
all with it.
don't do that. Do not fucking turn Shayna into a vampire. Please, God. But here's the thing, Travis. That's not even where this got that ridiculous. It got even more ridiculous because then Becky, instead of just accepting help from medical staff, one of which apparently was an Instagram model that WWE hired and dressed up as a medical staff, and everyone was talking about the hot medic, and someone found her Instagram photos, and it was a whole thing on Twitter. Anyway,
okay.
Yeah. Becky throws the medical staff to the side and hijacks GTA's, a fucking ambulance, to drive herself to the hospital, where she was going anyway.
Yeah. It gets worse, though. Keep going.
She goes to the hospital, gets treated.
Does she, though?
She said she got treated.
I say, does she? Because they think she still got, like, blood all over her hands and all that, because they didn't clean none of that off while she was at the hospital.
Well, Travis, she wouldn't let them drive her to the hospital. You think she's going to let people clean her off? She said, shoot me up with some drugs, patch up my neck, and get the fuck out of my way.
That's why I'm like, did she really get treated? That's my point, you know.
And then, while she is high on drugs, she gets back into an ambulance, which, by the way, from what I've heard from Charlotte Flair on Backstage this week, Becky should not be driving, period, let alone under the influence. And from what I saw on NXT, I don't even know if she was driving on the right side of the road, because if she's anything like Pete Dunne, she doesn't know any better. So now she's high, recklessly driving on the wrong side of the road in a stolen ambulance. There are no cops to stop her. And she comes back and, under the influence of drugs, thinks it's a very good idea to put her title on the line against this fucking mauler / vampire that just took a chunk out of the back of her neck.
Yeah. I told you what I had to say about it already. It's just shoot it better, and she didn't get treated. Go ahead.
There were people saying that they're trying too hard to make Becky Stone Cold, that this is something that Stone Cold would have done, and trying too hard to make Becky be Stone Cold.
It ain't that deep. I wouldn't look that deeply into it, but okay.
Did you see the Street Profits?
No.
Did you see the VIP lounge?
I did.
So our boy apparently had his last match ever on Monday Night Raw, but that doesn't mean he's gone. He's back with the VIP lounge. He's got Drew McIntyre, and he wants to be Drew's advocate. He wants to be Drew's Paul Heyman. He says Drew needs him. And Drew said, fuck you, and kicked him in the face.
Yeah, disrespectful motherfucker.
MVP or Drew?
Drew. The disrespect.
I can see it both ways, Travis.
He trying to help you out.
Listen, all right, Travis.
A veteran in the game is trying to give you some help, and you disrespect him like that?
I agree, but also put yourself in Drew's boots. You just won a 30-man Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to WrestleMania, and you got some guy who the most he ever did was U.S. champion and winning the tag team titles with Matt Hardy. Coming in telling you that you need him if you want to be champion.
Veteran guidance.
You personally, Travis, had some old dude who was never world heavyweight champion come in after one of the biggest wins of your career and say, you can't be champion without me. You need me. You telling me you're not going to boot him in the face? You personally.
Some of the best coaches in sports never played the game at all.
I'm asking you a question. Stop avoiding the question. Would you, Travis Pointer, boot him in the face?
I mean, I'd boot him in the face even if he was the champion before. That's not the point.
Okay.
I'm disrespectful as fuck anyway. I'm not saying that I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying it was fucking disrespectful.
And I don't disagree. He also took a couple pot shots there at Drew McIntyre while he was, advocating to be his advocate. Did you see Angel Garza versus Cedric Alexander?
Negative.
So no black guys. All right. Did you see? Oh, maybe. Did you see Rhea on Raw?
Yes.
She's backstage. She said she's not going to wait for Charlotte to give her the answer. She's coming to get it. And then Sarah Logan. Oh, Sarah Logan. Poor Sarah.
Yeah, it's just that's unfortunate.
Poor Sarah. Ladies and gentlemen, do not invest in the Sarah Logan home turf security system, defense system, because Sarah Logan said that this isn't where Rhea belongs, and Sarah's going to defend her turf by any means necessary. And then Sarah gets squashed.
Yeah.
And Charlotte comes out and still doesn't give us an answer as to whether or not she's going to accept Rhea's challenge. I am not going to be surprised if we see Charlotte this Sunday at TakeOver. Are you going to actually watch TakeOver this Sunday, Travis?
Depends on how I'm feeling. It's possible.
Do you want to do predictions, just off-the-cuff predictions for TakeOver this Sunday?
We're running
Seeing
long
as you're
already.
more invested?
No, we're running long already.
Okay. I'll do those on my Twitter. You guys can find that at Matt Ritter. There's at MATTRIDDER on Twitter. Did you see Ricochet versus Bobby Lashley?
I did.
They had a black guy on Raw. He was good. Well, he was good enough for Hulu anyway. Ricochet won because Ricochet is going to go on and
get his ass whooped by Brock.
Yeah, so why would you have Lashley beat him? Like, did you see Orton and Matt Hardy?
Yeah, that was odd.
Why is that odd?
Just having Matt come out there and try to defend Edge just didn't feel right to me.
Well, he addressed the issues. Matt Hardy is now married to Rebby Hardy. They have 2 children together.
I don't give a fuck.
Edge is now married to Beth Phoenix.
Still don't give a fuck.
As they said back in the day, that Holita is no longer in the picture in any way, shape, or form.
And neither are you. As far as I'm concerned.
Neither am I.
I'm just, if I'm Matt Hardy, and we're talking about Edge, like, yeah, she's no longer in the picture, and neither are you as far as I'm concerned, because fuck you. You still
Matt
did
explained it. Matt explained it. There's a brotherhood and there's a bond there. It's not going to get broken.
That's fine. I'm still not coming out to your defense.
Okay, fair enough. But anyway, Orton goes for an RKO. Matt slips the first one, gets caught with the second one, and then gets concertoed himself.
Yeah.
And
that's what he gets for defending somebody who fucked his girlfriend.
Internet is pissed.
Why?
Matt Hardy's contract with WWE expires in March. Rumor, and as we know, rumor can be bullshit with Samoa Joe, is that Matt Hardy has refused to re-sign his contract. And a lot of stuff that Matt Hardy's wife has been posting on Twitter and Matt Hardy has been posting on Twitter would lead you to believe that, but it could be a work. Anyway, they thought that this was a great way to end the Matt Hardy saga in WWE. But Matt Hardy has vowed to come to Raw this Monday and whoop Randy Orton's ass. And the reason people are mad is why is Matt Hardy okay after a concerto?
If what?
If Edge got a concerto and has been gone since it, why is Matt Hardy already okay and coming back to Raw for a fight when he got the same whooping that Edge did?
Because Edge has pre-existing conditions.
I'm just telling you why they're mad and what they said, Travis.
I know, and I'm just giving you an explanation.
Did you see Aleister Black?
Nope.
That's some bullshit. Even the guy with the last name Black didn't make Hulu.
Yeah.
Hulu's some racist bastards.
Yeah.
Did you see the 8-man tag team match?
There was an 8-man tag match.
It was the main event.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot it happened. It was that forgettable. Keep going.
The Messiah won, and his team won.
Yeah. So, didn't care.
Mm-hmm. No. The Street Profits defeat Mojo Rawley and Riddick Moss. And then after the match, once the 24/7 title rule is back in effect, Riddick Moss pins Mojo Rawley His offensive lineman steals his title from him and escapes.
And then R-Truth came in and pinned him. Damn it.
Angel Garza defeated Cedric Alexander. Humberto comes out and brawls with Garza before the match. Garza still gets the win. And Aleister Black defeats Akira Tozawa. So he has gone from Eric Young to Akira Tozawa. This does seem like a small, but still a progression up the ladder of the Monday Night Raw roster. We have gone from local jobbers to Eric Young, now to Akira Tozawa as he works his way through the Raw roster. Then he cuts a promo about how he's been in a cage. A lot of people joke that he's what's in Rowan's cage. Monday Night Raw, spit or swallow?
Spit.
So you spit Raw. You spit SmackDown.
Yeah.
You gargled NXT, and you gargled AEW.
Yeah. It was very underwhelmed this week.
I have a very terrifying question to ask, Travis. What was the best show of the week?
I still probably say NXT.
I thought for a second you might go AEW.
It's not going to happen. They're going to have to really impress me for them to pick them as the best show of the week.
Let me ask you this. If you're so underwhelmed with AEW, would you want to try something different next week?
Like what?
Instead of watching I'm still going to watch it, but instead of covering, so you don't have to watch it, next week's episode of AEW, we can watch an episode of NWA Power instead and see if you like that better. It's on YouTube. It comes out. I think it's only an hour long. I could be wrong, but I think they're only an hour long. So we could swap out, or maybe we could watch an episode of Impact and cover an episode of Impact.
I'm not watching any TNA.
Okay.
I'm not doing that. So
that's fine. I'm just saying we can alternate out AEW with another product and see if you like that product better, just to give you a break from AEW. See if there's something else out there you like. We can do that. What do you say? Or do you just want to keep doing AEW?
Sure. Where? Yeah, just tell me where to find the NWA show.
It's on YouTube. I'll send it to you. That's where all their episodes are.
All right. We'll try.
So when the new episode comes out, I'll send you the link if I remember.
All right. Well, if you happen to forget, I'm not going to remind you either. So.
Okay. I'll just run down what happened on AEW then, because I'm going to watch it anyway. You got anything else you got to cover, talk about, bring up?
No, like I said, we're running long. Let's wrap this up.
All right. You guys can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Creation World. That's where you guys can get everything for Super Flash Hero of Tomorrow, Smackin' Raw, and the upcoming Wild Wild West World. You guys can find just this podcast, our group, and everything that we do there at facebook.com/groups/Smackin' It Raw. You guys can also find the Super Flash Hero group, same place, facebook.com/groups/Super Flash Hero. If you are a fan of the CW verse or just Mara and Travis and their discussions in general, you guys can find Creation World on Twitter at The Creation World and on Instagram at The Creation World. Travis on Twitter and Instagram at Sir Cussalot. That is at SIR_CUSSALOTT. And as I said, me on Twitter only at Matt Riddler. That at MATTRIDDER. And please, if you have the chance and you like what we do, go check us out on Patreon or go buy some of our merch over at Teespring. Those links can also be found on the Creation the Creation World Facebook page and Twitter, and tagged in my pinned tweets. You guys can find it pretty much anywhere. The link tree for that. And what was I going to say? Latest episode of Return to Wrestling has dropped on YouTube. So go check that out. Let us know how you like that. And if you do like it, throw us $5 on Patreon. Go get the next episode immediately. Travis, we need to record soon.
Yeah, no. I think that's about it. Just so y'all know, though, because not enough of y'all are subscribed to the Patreon and buying merchandise, we got to resort to other things to make money. So I'll be launching my OnlyFans next week.
And we're also available on YouTube and Pornhub if you want to watch our videos. And that's pornhub.com/user/Creation World. For the Warden, Matt Ritter, he is Dark Chocolate.
All right, there you are.
For Sir Cussalot, Travis Pointer, I am the Warden, Matt Ritter. He's Dark Chocolate. I'm White Chocolate. We are Smackin' It Raw, and we are that damn good.
Peace.
Happy Valentine's Day.
love you.